Hi, this is Rosina Giovanni, joining you from What's Up Kansas City, and we're here today at the Black Archives of Mid-America in Kansas City, and I have here with me our special guest, Dr.Doretha K.Williams, and she's giving me a personalized tour of the wonderful exhibits that we have here. Would you like to go ahead and start and tell me a little bit more about it?
Sure. First of all, this is called the Kaufman Exhibit Hall here, and it's named after the Kaufmans because the Kaufman Foundation donated $1 million for the first phase of the exhibit. So we're happy to unveil this new phase, this first phase, to the public. But yes, so it's called the Kaufman because we're honoring the fact that they put so much effort and funds behind developing the exhibit here at the Black Archives.
It's wonderful, and we'll continue.
Well, this is our brand new exhibit. It's titled With My Eyes No Longer Blind. And what we do with this title, we really highlight the idea that you may not know the history of African Americans in Kansas City, but once you interact with the Black Archives, once you see the exhibit, once you come to our programming, you'll understand more about the history here. And we took that line from a poem by Langston Hughes titled I Look at the World. And so this panel here, you see kind of a selection of some of the images we use throughout the exhibit. And so we can go through and I'll take you through the rest of the exhibit.
Okay, and this particular image here, is this from Kansas City?
Yes, this is from Kansas City, and then there are other images that aren't really part of, this isn't like a full
shot.
Yeah, full shot. This is kind of a collage of some of the pictures here that we have in our collection here. And so we'll go through some of these. And the exhibit is thematic in design. So we start here with the early years with an examination of slavery and the Civil War in this region, noting some wonderful history here at Kansas City. We have a panel of the discussion of Quindaro, Kansas, and it being a place for African Americans. And also we have the pictures of some of the ruins here, for the Quindaro ruins. We have those pictures in our collection as well. There are also a couple of Quindaro, Kansas museums around the area on the Kansas City, Kansas side. We also have some great photos that we have from our collection about African American history. One of my favorite ones is this circular advertisement from Hodgman County, and this comes about in the late 19th century, mid-late to 19th century, and it really speaks to what we call the Exodus movement, which was a migration of African Americans out of the South into this area, and then also western Kansas as well. This particular one comes from Hodgman County. And these circulars were distributed in all the black newspapers around the country. African American newspapers had a high circulation throughout not just the South, but the North as well. And so this is just a selection of one of those circulars, and come to the colored people of the United States, come to Kansas. And the idea was to search for full citizenship and freedom in what was deemed a free state. So we have that in our collection as well. And really speaking to the border between Kansas and Missouri as well. So this is one of our early years panels, and each panel has the skyline. We have different buildings associated with Kansas City as well.
And of course that border still holds true today.
It sure does. It sure does. And on this panel, we've titled it Institutions of Uplift. And in this panel, we explore different organizations that were founded by black people in Kansas City to really develop their own community. Kansas City was a segregated city. Missouri was a segregated state. So what do you do in order to better your situation? So this is an exploration of that, and we have a great photo of the Paseo YMCA back in the early 20s, and one of the sites, the development of the Negro Leagues happened at the Paseo YMCA. We have the pictures of the Call newspaper building as it was being built and renovated, and of course the Call was founded in 1919 by Chester Franklin. And actually on the reverse side of all our panels we have different portraits of individuals that were prominent here in Kansas City, and we have Chester and Ada Franklin there as part of this backside of this exhibit. So the building is, we have a picture of the building being renovated, one of the early pictures. Another one of my favorites, the Perry Sanitarium. That was one of the first hospitals built on the Kansas City, Missouri side by Dr. Perry, who came out of Mary Medical School, but he saw the need for African Americans to have health care, and not just health care, but education in the medical field, because not only could you not get quality health care from a white hospital, you also could not get trained. So at the Perry Sanitarium, lots of nurses came through there to be trained to be nurses here in the city. So that's a great panel as well, and we have different items from our collection that have been turned into these placards for our patrons to view. And this is part of bringing our collection to the public. Everyone's not going to come and sign up to go and dig through the boxes and whatever. So this is a way that our collection can come to the people.
Exactly. And of course, with Perry Sanitarium being such a great place to not only receive treatment, but to train.
Right.
That's a way of reaching out to the community, empowering the community once
Right.
again.
Definitely.
Very, very beautiful history.
We kind of continue the theme of building your community on this panel. And Whitney Providence Hospital was actually part of Dr. Perry's vision as well, because during the early 20th century, late 19th century, the American Medical Association began to change the laws of how you could have a hospital, what type of facility you could have. So they eventually moved into Whitney Providence Hospital. Two organizations came together, and that building is still standing as well. They have attempts to turn it into a historic site. But we also have individuals here listed really highlighting the issue of segregation in schools and the development of some of the predominantly African-American schools like Lincoln on this side and Sumner on the Kansas side. We also have a picture of one of the first classes of nurses to come out of Perry Sanitarium.
Wow.
Right there, and I love that picture because I love how they have their capes and their hats, very classy in those days.
1912.
1912. Wow. So it's one of the first classes to come out of Perry Sanitarium before they moved into the Whitney Providence Hospital building there. So this is one of another favorite of mine. We also have a very great collection of material from Lincoln High School. This is a commencement edition from 1912. And this is actually in our collection. Of course, this is a scanned version for the exhibit, but we have this and many of these early 20th century pieces as well. We have one which is not out on display because it's very fragile, but it's beautiful. And it's another commencement edition. I think it's early. I think the date right now, but it's earlier than 1917. So we have a great collection of the Lincoln yearbooks in our collection as well. And lots of information about the area hospitals, whether it's Providence, Douglas on the Kansas side, General Hospital number 2, which was the segregated version of General Hospital number 1, because that hospital was segregated. So we have a great collection of that material in our archive. So in the last two panels, we'll look at, on this panel right here, we speak to entrepreneurship in Kansas City, early 20th century, up until the present actually. But we have some great pieces here. We have a piece of our Pullman porters who worked at Union Station downtown. Great picture. We also have pictures of items that we have in our collection as well. One of my favorites is the Street Hotel and Restaurant photo that was up here at the 18th and Vine area back in the day. And we also have one other favorite pictures of mine is the Double B campaign photo that was taken in North Kansas City. And what the Double B campaign was for African Americans was this idea of we're fighting overseas for the freedom for other people, and we come home to discrimination and racism. How do you deal with that? So the Double B campaign actually spoke to we're going to have victory overseas and victory at home. So you see this formation of workers throughout the country, not just Kansas City, at this time period, because it was known to illustrate we have to fight. We are going to go overseas. We're going to fight for freedom, but we're also going to fight for freedom here. stateside in America. And so that's one of my favorite pictures from our collection. Our last couple of panels, we highlight the social life in Kansas City. And since we're steps away from the Negro Leagues Museum and the American Jazz Museum, we try to pick up on different narratives. We speak to what we already know to be the history, but then we bring in some different pieces. So another one of my favorite pieces is the gateway boxing. So we talk about the Kansas City Monarchs in baseball, but we also talk about different programs that actually came out of Kansas City in the 30s up into the 70s of the Gateway Boxing Club for a lot of young men who were in this area, very well known. Also the Heart of America Golf Club, an organization founded by Junius Groves, who was called the Potato King.
Wow.
In Kansas City, because he found a way to grow white potatoes in Edwardsville, Kansas, made a lot of money, built this big mansion. And so he started this organization of black golfers, and the Groves family, actually, they still live in Kansas City.
Wow.
So, but yeah, so that's the Heart of America Golf Club. So we speak to jazz, we speak to the baseball, but we also speak to these other areas that people may not know about here in Kansas City.
There's more to Kansas City than just baseball and
Yes.
barbecue.
Oh, yes, yes. And then here we speak to the civil rights in Kansas City. We have a picture of the last Black Archives building. That's they call the old pumper station, the old fire station at 2033 Vine.
That's where the Black Archives were hosted.
Yes, that's the old building. And we also, we conclude the exhibit with the election of now Congressman Cleaver, mayor, when he was elected as mayor here in Kansas City. But we also speak to the issues of fighting for full citizenship in the area. So we have a collection of photos of sites of conflict. What do you do to bring about freedom? What do you do to bring about full citizenship? So we have photos and pieces from Freedom Inc., from also Freedom Inc., but also the Social Action Committee, SAC 20. We have a great collection of pieces from that organization as well. And of course the NAACP as well. So that's our exhibit, and it really highlights our collection. So for those who want to come and learn more about the Black Archives and do research in our collection, please give us a call. We're on the web at blackarchives.org. All of our contact information is there. So you can also email us or give us a call if you'd like to set up a research appointment. We're very happy to have you. We've been hosting researchers since basically January 2012, but of course since we've opened. So we're really excited to have the community to come in and be here in the exhibit and learn about Kansas City, but also be in our collection as well and do some researching if you need to. We invite students, undergrad, graduate students, members of the community, researchers from out of town. It doesn't matter if there's something in our collection that you would like to do research, to look at, please stop by, please give us a call.
Thank you. This is magnificent, and this is probably just a very small portion of all of the rich history that you have up in the archives there. And I would, thank you for this personalized tour, and it was a great opportunity for me. I got to learn a lot about the history of Kansas City and the history of the African American community here, and it's very beautiful, and I'm very honored to be here today. And I want to thank you for joining us today at What's Up Kansas City, and I encourage you to come out here and take this in. It's beautiful. It's part of, our history in Kansas City, and as, really strong and invested members of the community, it's sort of here to take advantage of. So once again, thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity, and have a great day. Thank you.